Hello, my name is Henny and welcome to Take Heart. Today we're going to talk about fighting the right battle. And I would like to start reading from the Bible. And today we're going to read about the servant of Elijah and he is very scared. And it is in 2 Kings, chapter 6, verse 15. And it says, When the servant of the man of God got up, and went out early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. "Oh no, my lord, what shall we do?" the servant asked. And so I know that many moms who lost their children to their abuser, this is exactly how they feel. They feel surrounded. And it's our natural instinct when we want to protect our children from abuse that all of a sudden we are thrown in this ocean of battles. We want to go in there and fight all these battles. And so we have a battle in court where they call us an alienator and they call you a liar and evil. You have a fight with CPS, many moms do, and there they say that you coach your children and that you were a liar. You have a battle in the children's school where they see you as the parent that doesn't have custody, and so they only talk with the abuser. You have a battle with the doctor's office that doesn't want to give you medical records. You have a battle in your church community who see you as a mom that lost their children, so there must be something wrong with you. And all of a sudden, you are fighting on your own all these battles. And sadly enough, it's not a battle that lasts a month, not a year. This battle can last for years. And so when you just go out there into the war zone on your own and fighting all these battles, you're going to get drained and exhausted. You lose hope. You get triggered and so traumatized. And so before you go out there, as from your natural instinct as a mom to protect your children, you need to first step back. And there is another battle that you have to fight first and win so that you can go out there and fight all these 50 battles at the same time. And you can endure and win and stand strong. And that battle is the spiritual battle. When you fight against abuse, in abuse, there is a lot of evil, very evil. And so there is one person that overcame evil, and that is Jesus on the cross. He overcame evil, he overcame abuse, and Jesus had victory over injustice. And that's why it's so important that against your instinct to go out there and give it your all and fight these fights to protect your children, first you need to fight the battle in here. You need to fight first that battle and come from a place of victory. And so many moms who were thrown in this war zone, they end up feeling like this, right? These are all the feelings that you feel. And so you are so exhausted and drained. In the previous video, I talked about spending time with God and going from knowing about God, know God. So you can ask God to give you wisdom and a revelation so you will know him better, so you may know the hope. And so that needs to be your starting point, because knowing about God is not going to take you from here to here, where this needs to be your starting point before you go out into the war zone and fight all these battles. Knowing about God is not going to get you here. You're going to feel like, God, where are you? I'm praying. I'm doing the right things. You feel drained and lonely and abandoned by everybody, including God. And so you need to go from here to here, and you can go there when you know God. And so I would like to give you an example. When you have to drive from Florida to California on one tank, you cannot do that. You will run dry empty. You will not even make it halfway. And so it's very important that you first fight this battle so you do not run empty. And so you need to start with knowing God. And for example, when you know God is good and faithful, powerful, and that God is for you and with you, and His plans are good, and your life and your children's life are in God's hands, when you know it, you come from this place. You come from a place of belief and confidence and calmness, resilience, rest, satisfied, and you will have faith. And so how do you get there? Is starting with God. And I will give you an example. If the court is throwing at you arrows, burning arrows at you and telling you that you are an alienator and you're so evil and that you will do anything in your power to manipulate and take the children away, and they trust the arrows, the burning arrows, to destroy your reputation and to destroy you of a person if you never even been that person ever in your life. The way they describe you, you've never been that way. And those arrows just come at you fiercely with high speed, burning. And if they can come in your heart, and they can bring so much destruction, so much pain, and so much trauma. But if you know God, the shield of faith, the burning arrows, they can come at you, but your shield of faith will protect you. And those arrows will not enter in your heart. They will not enter in your soul. Because they can say all these things and they can define you falsely, but you know that you are the daughter of the Most High King, the ruler of the nations, that God made you good and beautiful, and that God has a plan with your life, and that God has a good plan for your life, and God is with you, and God is for you, and most importantly, God believes in you. And so that is what defines you, not the arrows that they're throwing at you of alienation, and that you are a liar and a manipulator, and that you are evil. That is not the one that's going to define you. What is going to define you is that you are this powerful, mighty woman of God that loves God, who has been faithful, who spoke the truth, who did the right things, and you know that God knows and that God is with you. And so when you go out and fight the battle in court, that is your starting point. You know who you are. You know that you are the child of God. And you know that in the midst of this storm, in the midst of this tornado, God is with you. He is for you. And if they want to throw an obstacle in front of you, God will find a way and remove the obstacle. If they slam a door, you know that God is the one that is in control and He sits on the throne. He is the one that when people close the door, God can open it. And do you see that when you start from the victory of the cross, that Jesus overcame it all, then from that starting point, you can fight all these battles and you will not get drained. You will not get discouraged. You will not lose hope and faith, and you do not wonder where God is, because you know. And so let me give you an example. So there was a time in my life where I had only $230 every 2 weeks, and I had 87 cents in my bank account. And so at that time, I will be very honest, I had all these feelings. I felt it all. And so when I would feel this way, and I knew that I had only 87 cents in my bank account, I would sit in my living room and I would sit with Jesus. And instead of speaking like words out over my life, like, why did this happen? And I don't have anything, I spoke the truth of Jesus over my life. And I would say, Jesus, you are the King of Kings and you're the Lord of Lords. You are the ruler over the nations. You, Jesus, are my provider. You are my redeemer, my protector. You are my father. You are my shelter. You're the judge of all judges. You are the King of Kings, and you are with me and for me. You are the history maker. You are the one that creates the story of my life. And Jesus, I trust you. I believe in you. I love you, and I will stay faithful to you, even when I have only 87 cents in my bank account. And so I spoke out the trust and my faith in Jesus when I had nothing. I had only 87 cents in my bank account. And so at that time, what I would eat was just water and oatmeal, because if you can do the math, there was literally nothing left. And so one day I was so hungry, because oatmeal with water does not fill you up. And so I emptied my purse and I gathered the few bills and coins and I counted them all up, and I had only $4 left. And so I drove to a $1 store and I went up and down the aisle trying to find something that I could buy for $4 that will keep the hunger away the longest. And so I gathered up a few things for my $4, and then I went to pay for it. And there was this lady in front of me, and she only bought one thing. And then she left the store, and then it was my turn to pay. And so I paid my few things for my $4, and then I left the $1 store. And there was this lady standing outside. She waited for me. And then she walked up to me and she said, "Here, God told me I needed to give this to you." And she handed me a $20 bill. And I was so surprised. I said, "Are you sure?" I asked her, I said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yes, God told me to give that to you. God bless you." And she just got in the car and she left. And that day, I could buy better food than I could have bought from my $4 in the $1 store, so that I would not be hungry. And so what did I learn? And what did I see that day? I saw that day that God is good and faithful, and that God has me. God has me. God did not let me go down. That God did not let me go hungry. That God did not let me drown. I made it even with $230. I made it every month, because God is faithful and God had me and God could take care of me. And so even though, was I a millionaire? No. Did I had a lot of money? No. Did I go under and drown? That answer is also no. And I knew in that time, even when I had little, I knew that I had a God that was good and that could take care of me. And so I would like to give you another story, because it's not only always that God uses other people to provide in our moments of needs. And so sometimes God also gives you in you things and provide in you things so you can endure and fight the battle that you need to fight. And so if you do the math, from $230, you can do the math, that's impossible to live the rent, the electricity, the phone, your gas, and then food. How do you do that? That was impossible. And so what I would do is, for a whole year, I would work every single day, and I worked double shift after double shift after double shift. And God, at that time, God gave me the energy and the strength and the willpower to endure that crazy time that I worked crazy hours so I could pay my bills. And so now, if I look back at it, I feel tired after just a normal day of 8 hours of work. But in that time, God gave me the strength. God gave me the strength that I could just be go, go, go and do it all. And I endured and I didn't go under. And so you see, I knew that sometimes I didn't have the answers. I didn't have the resources, but I had one thing. I had a good God, a powerful God, a God that loved me and a God that had me and that would never let me go under. And so even when I had 87 cents in my bank account, I never went under. I never drowned. And so God had me. And so that is how you get from knowing about God to knowing God. You have faith even when you have very little, even when the waves are hitting you really hard, and people who are supposed to support you, they let you down. But in those moments, you have one person that doesn't let you down, and that is Jesus. And so, if you overcome this battle, this spiritual battle of unbelief, of doubt, of fear to trust, if you can overcome that and lay it all down at the cross, and you just hold on to Jesus and say to Jesus, even when all you have is Jesus, Jesus, if I have you in a crowd, or I have you all by myself, and I am abandoned by all, I am going to stay faithful to you. Then God will reveal himself to you, and he will show you his revelation, and he will give you wisdom, and he will show you how much he loves you, how good he is, and how faithful he is. And so that's why it's so important that you fight the right battle in here, and so you know who you are, and so you know also that in the midst of the storm, who is with you. We live in a broken world, and people are broken and imperfect. And so a lot of moms, they get abandoned by people who were supposed to help them and support them. They didn't receive help and protection from people and systems that were supposed to protect them. But you, in the midst of it all, in the midst of this war zone, you still have the mighty God, the ruler of the nations that sit on the throne. And that same God has you. The same God has your children. And if you know how good and powerful, faithful and able God is, you can go out in the war zone and you can fight all the 50 battles at the same time. You can fight confidently, and you can fight with peace in your heart, and you will fight with no fear, because you know that where your ability ends, God ability starts. And there where you do not know anymore what to do, God does know what to do. And then you change from this person who has unbelief and doubt and fear and is worried and scared and alone and nobody to trust, you become this person who stands powerfully, fearlessly next to God. And you're going to fight this battle with God. And you can do it not out of your own strength, not out of your own wisdom, not out of your own gifts. But you know you can do it because there is a God that stands above it all. There were humans, people cannot open a door. God can. When there are obstacles that are so big in human eyes, it's impossible to overcome, you can overcome it. And when the force against you is so strong that in human eyes you have to go under and you will drown, you will not drown. Because for one reason, because there is a God. So fight the right battle first. Don't fight out there and run empty. You fight in here, and you fight from victory, from the foundation that Jesus overcame it all, and that Jesus had victory, and Jesus lives in you, and so you have victory. You have that victory in you, and you can face the evil of abuse from the victory. And every battle that you have to fight, every word that you have to speak out, every action that you need to do, you do that from the point of that Jesus overcame it all. Evil has no power over you. You gonna take back that what is already yours, because there is a God that's powerful and good and that sits on the throne. So you go out and fight the right battle.